We're about 8 months away from the Heisman Trophy ceremony, but it's never too early to start discussing the favorites. Every season there's always a few frontrunners at the helm, but as recent seasons have shown us, being a preseason favorite rarely results in a player winning the Heisman Trophy. Going back all the way to 2010, no preseason favorite has taken home the hardware. Let's start in 2010. Cam Newton took home the hardware and didn't even crack the top 25 odds to begin the season. In 2011, Robert Griffin III won, but started the year with the 11th best odds. In 2012, Johnny Manziel won, and just like Cam Newton 2 years prior, wasn't even in the top 44 to begin the year. Keeping up the tradition, Jameis Winston wasn't even on the list to begin the year in 2013. The following year, we finally had a favorite nearly win, as Marcus Mariota took home the trophy with the second highest odds. The next year was kind of close, with Derrick Henry winning after starting the year with the 8th highest odds. We take another step back the next year, with Lamar Jackson starting the season with the 19th highest odds. 2017 was kind of a close one, with Baker Mayfield being tied with 2 other players for the 3rd highest odds to start the season. And to cap things off, we take a look at Kyler Murray, who won the Heisman last year, who didn't even crack any odds makers preseason lists to win the Heisman. So, who are the favorites to win the Heisman in 2019? Well, according to Bovada, the 2 frontrunners this upcoming season, to no surprise, are Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa. Both are tied at 2.5 to 1 odds to win. Rounding out the top 5 are Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, and Jonathan Taylor. Can any of these guys win the Heisman? Absolutely. But as recent history has shown us, it's not likely going to be one of these 5 guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at 5 sleeper picks who can make a run in 2019 and win the Heisman Trophy. The last 2 Heisman Trophy winners were quarterbacks who transferred to a different school. Could this year make it 3 in a row? Without ever playing a snap for Ohio State, Justin Fields already has high expectations. Fields was a 5-star prospect out of high school and the 2nd highest rated quarterback in the history of 247 sports, trailing only Trevor Lawrence. At Georgia, Fields completed 27 of 39 passes for 328 yards and 4 touchdowns, though in limited playing time in 12 games. He also rushed for 266 yards and 4 touchdowns on 42 carries, all while backing up Jake Fromm. Fields entered the transfer portal at the end of the season and announced his transfer to Ohio State in early 2019. Now, all bias aside, as you can see, Eno Benjamin was truly one of the more underrated running backs in the country last season. He was 5th in the country with 1,642 rushing yards, while having 3 games where he rushed for under 38 yards. His 1,600 yards was an Arizona State record. He was also top 10 in the country with 16 rushing touchdowns. Benjamin did all this in his first season as a starter. He averaged 151 yards per game over his final 9 games, including a 312-yard outburst against Oregon State. There's no reason Benjamin can't continue to add on to what he did in 2018. He was number 1 in the Pac-12 with 77 missed tackles forced, as well as first with 1,030 yards after contact. It's been a while since we've seen him play, and I'm sure a lot of college football fans forgot that he's still around. After sitting out the 2018 season, Jacob Eason is likely going to be a starting quarterback for the Washington Huskies this year. After being the number 4 overall high school recruit in 2016, Eason, a Washington native, decided to commit to Georgia. In 2016, he threw for just under 2,500 yards as well as 16 touchdowns. Not too bad for a true freshman. However, he did have 8 interceptions and a completion percentage of only 55%. After losing his starting job to Jake Fromm, he transferred to Washington. At 6'6" and 230 pounds, Eason has a great size for a quarterback. He takes over for Jake Browning, who was okay during his time at Washington. Yes, he had a really good 2016 season, but for the most part, he was an above-average quarterback at best. But he still led Washington to 3 consecutive 10-win seasons. And there's no reason Eason can't do the same. The Huskies have a fairly easy schedule in 2019, and there's no reason this team can't win at least 11, maybe 12 games. If Washington finds themselves in the Pac-12 title game again, and Eason can throw for 30 touchdowns and 3,000 yards, there's no reason he won't be seeing himself in New York at the end of the year. Was there anyone more fun to watch on the football field last season? As a freshman, Rondale Moore led the country with 114 catches. He caught nearly 1,300 yards as well, to go along with 12 touchdowns. He also rushed for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, and added about 750 yards as a returner. With Elijah Sindelar now at the helm, it'll be interesting to see if Moore can have the same success as he did with David Blau. But there's no reason he shouldn't. This is a guy that can turn any play into a touchdown, or especially at least a big play. Aside from maybe Jerry Jeudy of Alabama, Moore might be the most likely receiver to take home the Heisman just strictly because of his ability to impact the game in so many ways. If Purdue gets him a little more active in the run game, there's no reason Moore won't eclipse 3,000 total yards this upcoming season. Texas A&M quietly put together a really good season last year in Jimbo Fisher's first season as head coach, and a lot of that was largely due to their quarterback, Kellen Mond. In his sophomore season, Mond threw for 3,100 yards and 24 touchdowns. He also added 500 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. The biggest thing that will help Kellen Mond in 2019, he returns all of his receivers. He'll definitely need to improve his accuracy as he completed only 57% of passes last year, but as I mentioned, with all of his receivers returning, I expect that number to go up. Mond might also be able to expand his running game, especially with the departure of running back Travion Williams. The Aggies' offensive line should definitely be formidable, returning 3 starters, with several other players having starting experience as well, so protection shouldn't really be an issue. He'll also have his chance for his Heisman moment as Texas A&M plays one of the toughest schedules in the country this upcoming year. They'll face Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, and LSU. If he can get 2 wins or even 3, his resume should be enough to land him in New York. The beauty of college football is that so much can change on a weekly basis. One week can impact an entire college football season, whether it be good or whether it be bad. So all these guys that I mentioned might not even be finalists in New York at the end of the season. And that's what's so exciting about the Heisman Trophy. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Let me know if you like these kind of styles and what else you'd like to see in the future moving forward. Also leave a comment letting me know who your sleeper pick is to win the Heisman Trophy in 2019. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon.